All right, let me see if we're here. Oh. All right, so I don't know if, I know we did, you and I didn't do it, but I know that it was in tutoring. Have you done number 1 yet or not yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. So what's happening in this section is that we're going to learn about what we call regression analysis, or the line of best fit. So we have X and Y. This is probably one of our more algebraic sections of the course. So we're going to be doing some things that harken back to algebra some. So we have an x-axis, an x variable, and a y-axis. And normally we stay in the first quadrant, so we don't draw all 4 of them because we're dealing normally with positive numbers. So we deal with the first quadrant. In this class, we use the term in this case, we use independent variable for our variable on the x-axis, and we use dependent variable for a variable on the y-axis. There are other terms that are the same that you may hear in other courses, but that's what we use here. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to put data in the calculator, and it's going to generate a graph for us, like our ordered pairs do. We're not going to connect them. We're just going to make the dots. That's called the scatter plot. And then we're going to find the line that best fits through those dots that helps us to make predictions. That's kind of where this is going. So we have dots, and I'll bring up the slides for this too, but we have some dots that we draw, and sometimes they're something like this. Now this has a positive slope. These dots are in general, they're going upward and to the right as you increase. That's an increasing slope. That means that your slope will be positive. The closer these dots are together, and the closer these dots are to a straight line, the greater your association between the variables is. So let me pull up the, I don't have it open just yet. Let me open up the actual, have you looked at the slides for this lesson?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. Okay, just checking. Let me pull them up to see what we're doing here. Let me pull up the slides. I might have to download it. I'm not sure if I have it up or not. Regression. Oh yeah, I do have it right here. I did pull it up already. Okay, so this is, let me open up the screen. These are our slides. And it probably, let's take a few minutes and go over it, just so that you kind of see this. So our scatter plot, this is kind of what I was showing you just now. A scatter plot is a graph of the ordered pairs X and Y of numbers consisting of the independent variable X and the dependent variable Y. Now, in this example, she's given you the median age for marriage of women. So in other words, the age at which women first got married. And on the y-axis, the median marriage age for men. And what we're trying to figure out here is whether they're related. So that's what the scatter plot is going to tend to show us. To graph a scatter plot, I'll show you that when we get there. But all of your instructions for making a scatter plot are here on these slides. And then she has an example and she has screenshots of this. Okay. Now, when we get to the scatter plot, we also have something we call the regression line or the line of best fit. Researchers, such as anthropologists, are often interested in how two measurements are related. The statistical study of the relationship between variables is called the regression. So if you get a group that is very related, the line will look very similar. So again, we have y equals ax plus b. This is a throwback to your algebra course. We have y equals mx plus b. We just changed the letter to a, mostly to fit the calculator. The calculator uses ax plus b. We'll see that when we do this. So you're going to have this. And we have something new called the correlation coefficient, R. Our calculator is going to give you that. There's a big, nasty formula to calculate that. We don't need to learn the big, nasty formula because the calculator will do that for you. Now here, if we go through, we continue with the slides. We have, let me see. So we have some more screenshots here of, and I'll go through that. Your scatter plot on the calculator is going to look something like this. Here's your dots, okay? And we're going to put in our window setting. Now, here's a slide worth looking at. This is slide number 10. If you see dots that are close together like this and look like they're increasing, that's a strong positive correlation. Strong because the dots are close together and it looks like a line. Positive because it's going upward and to the right. Similarly, this is a negative correlation because these dots are going down and to the left, down and to the right, I'm sorry, down and to the right. So this is negative correlation, okay? And so this, like I said, very similar to what algebra looks like. If you see something that looks like this, where it would be really hard to get a line through most of the dots, you could get a line through some of these dots. You could get a line through, say, these dots, right? But the idea, or you could get a line through, say, these dots here, right? But our idea is to get one line through most of the dots, and we couldn't do that on an example like this. So this correlation would be very weak. Okay, now now the other thing we can do besides show how the correlation is we can also use it to predict values as long as the model fits. Sometimes the model isn't a very good fit, but assuming that we have a pretty good fit for this, let me scroll down here. So when you have a pretty good fit for some of this, you can make predictions from the model. And there's an example in here. Like I said, I'll go through all this the first time that we do it, because it will just make it easier than reading through the whole thing. more about regression analysis, and then there's an example here. So I will scroll here through this part. Now, when you get to, does she give you an example? She does. Okay. I think I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until we get there. We didn't do this yet. Okay, let me stop there and switch to this. There's only 4 of these problems. They are a little bit time consuming, okay? One thing I will say for the benefit of people watching this later is, and questions I get all the time about this, if you look at the directions on the homework, we have the, like the setup up here, we have the data here. A is make a scatter plot of the table above on your graphing calculator. Yes, you're going to make a scatter plot on your calculator. Then you're going to copy that onto your paper. So you're going to plot these as points, just like you would if you were doing it on paper. You would plot this just like you were in algebra. So this, the first line is going to be my X, and the second line is going to be my Y. And that you'll see how it comes in when we do it. When you get to part C and it says graph the linear regression equation, you're going to copy that on your paper as well and try to get as accurate a drawing as you can. It's not going to be perfect, but you're going to try and copy what you're otherwise seeing on the screen. Before we start, let me bring up my calculator so that I'll have it ready. Okay, let me escape from here. And then we'll see what's going on. All right, I'm going to close this for now. And I'm going to open my calculator screen. Bear with me for a moment while the calculator opens. Okay. All right, so I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to go to the homework here. So the first, whoops, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Let me stop sharing everything. Here's the regression. So the first thing we're going to do is something that we always do, which is put our data in a list. We're going to need 2 lists, one for the X data and one for the Y data. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my X data. Hold on, give me a second here. Into the calculator, just like you would normally. It's just that we're going to be doing 2 of these. So here, we're going to have, let's see, let me put it. It's going to be, let me write the data down. 4.75. Okay, so we have 4.75, 6.84, 12.52.
Do I put this in a calculator?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you, but I need to write the data first. Yeah, you're gonna put it in the calculator because the calculator is going to give us everything that we need. So go to stat edit, clear
Okay.
your list if you need to,
Mm-hmm.
and then put in the first line in L1 And the second line in L2. 3. So it's going to look something like this. Let me share my screen. We're going to go and we're going to stat. We're going to edit. I'm going to clear my data because I have some data in here. So I'm going to clear it out so that I'm ready to, oops, clear, enter. Okay. Now I'm going to put my X data into, you don't have to sort your data. You just put it in the way it appears. 4.75, 6.84, 1252, 2042, and 897. 897, whoops, 97. You go to L2, you do the same thing. We have 50 cents. We have 90 cents. We have $1.50. And we have $3. And we have $1. Now, once you get the data in your calculator, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set it up so that you can plot the scatter plot. So the first thing we're going to do is turn on your scatter plot. So we're going to do that above the y equals key. So we're going to go second, stat plot, and make sure that your stat plot is on. If it's not on, if it's off, let me turn mine off so that you can see. If your stat plot is off like this, you're just going to.
How do I put on the stat plot? Oh,
Okay, I'm going to show you. So you hit enter.
wait, hold on. I made a mistake on the line, so I'm fixing that. Hold on.
No problem. Not a problem.
Okay, how do I do it?
So hit second and then y equals, because that's stat plot, until you see a screen that looks like this. Okay.
Okay.
Now, is your stat plot off or is it on?
For number 1, it's off.
It's
on.
off. Okay.
It's on. It's
It's
on.
on already. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's on already, just hit enter. Hit enter.
Okay.
Make sure that it's on, and make sure that this first box on the top, the one that looks like a bunch of dots, make sure that that's highlighted. Okay.
It is.
At X list, make sure you have L1 in there.
Mm-hmm.
And L2 in there. Now the mark is really up to you, but the easiest one to actually see is the box. The cross is not too bad. The dot, it can be really hard to see if your dots are close together, but the mark is up to you. I usually use the default. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
there's a couple of things that we need to check before we can do this. I'm going to just hit Y. We're going to check a couple of things. We're going to make sure that you don't have any other lines in your Y. So go ahead and hit Y equals and make sure that there's no line there. If there's a line there, go ahead and remove it. Go ahead and just, you can delete it from there.
Mhm.
Okay, because it's gonna mess up our oh, I
Data.
forgot to turn mine on. Let me turn it on. Okay, now we're going to get ready to graph it. We have our data. We're going to set our window now. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to do this. The easiest and the fastest is to use Zoom here. And it may be in a different place on your menu, but go down your menu. For me, it's number 9. Go to your menu until you see Zoom Stat. Zoom 9. See that?
Zoom 9. No. Where is
Okay.
that?
Zoom is next to the window key.
Oh yeah.
So hit the Zoom key.
Mhm.
And then on your menu, you should see Z box, zoom in, zoom out. Somewhere on
Mhm.
that menu, you'll have to scroll down a bit. You should see something that says Zoom Stat.
I see it.
Go ahead and hit enter there. And the next thing you should see is your dots for the data that we plotted. Should look like,
Mhm.
okay? That is your scatter plot. That's your scatter plot for these data. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now we're going to get the regression line. We're going to see if we can get the best fit line through this data. By the way, while I have this here, which way is this line going? And does it have a positive slope or a negative slope?
It's starting from down and going to up, so it's positive.
That's right. This is a positive slope. And the dots look fairly close together at the top, but I mean at the bottom, and then they get a little further away, but it still looks fairly linear. So I would expect this to have a pretty high correlation, right?
Mhm.
Let's find out. Now we have to do some other things here. I'm going to take you through something here. We're going to do another check on the calculator. I'm going to go to stat. So hit the stat key like you're
Mhm.
used to. Right arrow one time to calc. Okay.
Mhm.
We've been on this menu before. We're going to use number 4, LINREG AX plus B. This stands for linear regression AX plus B. Okay. We're going to use that command there. And we're
Mhm.
going to X list is L1, Y list is L2. We don't need a frequency list. We're going to calculate that. Okay. Now for me, I have 4 values on my screen. Okay. You
Mhm.
might only have 2. How many values do you see on your screen?
I just have 2, A and
You
B.
have 2. Okay. Let me turn this up. I'm going to stop sharing this for a second. I'm going to work with my calculator so I can turn it off, and then I'll turn it on with you so it doesn't confuse you. Because once you turn this on, you can turn it off, but you won't have to. The only thing is if you change the batteries, or you if you're using a physical calculator, or if you reset it, you may lose it and you may have to turn it on. So I want you to know how to do that if you need to, because that can come in really handy, because you're going to need this command for your. So let me turn off. This is called the diagnostic. Let me turn it off so that I'm going to get back to my screen here. Stat calc 4 and hit enter. Okay, so now let me share the screen again. Here. Okay. All right, so my screen looks like this. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this so that it will give me R as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to use something that you might not realize you had, which is a whole catalog of functions. Your catalog is on top of 0. It's in blue, so you're going to hit second catalog right here, okay?
Where's catalog?
It's on top of 0.
Okay, I see it.
You see it? So hit the second key in catalog and you should see something that comes up like this. And there's a whole bunch of stuff underneath it, okay? If you ever wondered about anything your calculator can do, it's all here in a big old list. It's all alphabetical, okay? We're looking for something called diagnostic on, okay? Now you can scroll all the way down to the D's, but you're going to be scrolling for a while. So I'm going to show you a shortcut. We're going to use the alpha key. So go to alpha, and then you're going to hit the letter D, which is above the X-1 key on matrix, alpha D. And that will get you to the D's. Scroll down to the D's until you see the one that says diagnostic on. Then hit enter and it'll pop up on your screen. Hit enter one more time and you'll see done, meaning that your calculator has done it. Okay. The screen won't look any different, but we're going to go back to the stat function. So hit stat, right arrow to calc once, and then hit number 4 for linear regression. And we're going to calculate that. Now you should have 4 values on your screen.
Yes, I do.
Okay, now we're going to write for the sake of doing the problem, because the problem asks us for these, we're going to write some of this down. So take your, I'm going to write it on the paper that I have next to me, and then I'll write it on the whiteboard as well. I'm going to write down my A, my B, and my R. Okay, so the first one, the second one, and the fourth one. So A here is, and I'm going to round it to 4 places. So A is going to be 0.1569. A is 0.1569. B is going to be negative 0.2992. And R is going to be.
What about R square?
We don't use that in this class. That's called the coefficient of determination. If you go into a research methods class, or if you're part of psychology, you'll learn more about that. We don't use that here. We do use R, which is the correlation coefficient. So 0.9911 is what we want to write down. Okay, 0.9911. When you have all that written down, you can go ahead and we're going to go to the y equals when you're ready. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
So hit y equals, okay? Remember how I said clear out your line, right? This is why, because we're going to put a line here. That's your regression line. That's what we needed A and B for. So if you remember, let me put this on the screen. Let me put it in a text box and I'll put it in black. So A was 0.1569.
So do I put A equals?
Well, this is just for your reference for
Oh,
the people watching it. We're going to do that in just a minute. I just need to have these values here so that when I put it in, it will make sense for the people who are watching later. 0.2, oops. You're going to enter it as an equation because that's the equation of our 2992. So this is going to look like this. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to type in, remember the equation of my line is ax plus b. So I'm going to write in my y1, I'm going to say that this is 0.1569 x. Remember, use the x that's next to alpha, the one with all the letters on it. Okay. And then this is negative, so I'm going to put minus, use the big minus, not the toggle minus, okay? 0.2992. Now that's a line, right? If you graph it, so hit graph, you get what we call the regression line or the line of best fit. That's the line that you just drew. Okay, so now this picture that's on your screen is a picture of your scatter plot, which is your dots, with the regression line. Okay, so A asked you to graph the dots, C asks you to graph the regression line. So when you do this on your homework, you can put this on the same graph. Your graph should look like this. Okay. Now let's go back. Are you good?
So this is A, so I just write that down?
Well, okay. This is actually A and C together. Okay. So if you want to make one graph, which is what I would suggest with this, with the dots and the line, you can just label this as A and C.
Okay.
All right. You don't have to make two separate graphs when you do it. Let me go back to the homework so you can see what we're looking at, so you'll know why I said that. So part A is make a scatter plot. We did that. B is find the regression equation. So what is the regression equation? Well, the regression equation is what we just put in the calculator. That's why I had you write A and B on your paper, right? So the regression equation here, let me annotate the screen for you. The regression equation here is y equals, and remember, you're going to round this to 4. So we have 0.1569x and minus 0.2992. That's your regression equation. Okay.
Hold on.
Take your time.
I'm gonna write this down since it's A and B.
A and C,
A
actually.
and C.
The graph is A and C. Uh-huh.
Is she gonna grade us on how it looks or?
Not too much. The only thing I will say is that your scatter plot, my suggestion, because a lot of people have difficulty with the scatter plot, is to maybe use trace when you
Oh,
do
I
it.
have a ruler. I have a ruler.
Right, but if you're not sure where the points fall, because that happens with the line sometimes, use your trace or use your tables to see which dots the line goes through or gets close to. As long as it looks roughly like the screen, you should be
Mhm.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So these are a little time consuming, but not hard. It's just a lot of calculator stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
And she will provide, that's a good question. She does provide the grid, but she doesn't label the grid for you on the exam. So you can label it with whatever tick marks are appropriate. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. So that was A. Okay. And now we're doing find the regression equation. We already did that.
Mm-hmm.
The regression equation. So when it says find the regression equation, you write y equals 0.1569x minus 0.2992. Okay. Now, the next thing she asked you, this is also part of B, what is R? Okay, well, we had R. And if you wrote it down from your regression screen, R equals 0.9911, all right, for this. You're going to have a different R for the different regression equations. So R depends on what your equation is.
So that's it?
Well, that's it for part B. And you already, did you graph C as part of did you put the line on your graph?
Yeah.
Already? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you
I did A and C together.
good. You did A and C, that's what you should do. And then we just write the values from B right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now D asks us to actually do some math, okay? So again, this is our nod to algebra in this section because we're going to, it says, if the next diner orders a meal costing $10.50, how much tip should the waiter expect to receive? So remember, our X data was our meal cost and our Y data was our tip, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the meal costs $10.50, I have my equation up there in B, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Where am I going to put this $10.50?
In the X?
That's right. I'm going to put it in X and I'm going to solve for Y, right? Now, sometimes she gives you the Y and has you solve for X, but this one, the 1050 is your X. So you're going to show the equation. You're going to show it, show putting it in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to say this. For part D, you're going to say, hold on, my annotation doesn't want to work right now. There it is. Okay. So we have y equals 0.15, whoops, 0.1569. And we're going to put $10.50 in here. And then we're going to subtract 0.2992.
Yeah, I already did it. I got 1.35.
And that's correct. That is the correct answer. In this case, it's money, so you're going to round to two places. $1.35 is correct. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the majority of these problems are going to ask you to do these things. Okay, there's only 4 of them, so you have 3 left. But the biggest majority of what you're going to do is all the calculator stuff that we just did. Okay, so there's a lot of calculator stuff for this section and some math. I think one of the problems involves more predictions. This is called a prediction down here. This is a future prediction that you're making. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Are you ready to go to number 2 or not yet?
Yes.
Okay, so let's clear this out. And let's go on to the second one and see what the second one looks like. Why? There it is. All right, so number 2 says the table below gives the number of hours spent studying for a science exam X and the final grade Y. Make a scatter plot, find the regression equation, graph it, and then predict the exam grade of a student who studied for 6 hours. And you know what? I can see this. I have to look at this because she's got 2 twice on here. I think 0, 1, 2, 3. That's weird because she's got. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call her because I don't know what that. Let me see if I have the solution to see, because she's got 2 on there twice. And that's gonna make it, maybe somebody did study, they could. This could still work, but it just strikes me as odd. I'm not sure she meant to do that. Go ahead and enter your data and see if you, let me put the, let me look for the solution for this, because you could have the data be repeated in that case, because we're not putting them together. But like I said, I don't know that she meant, but 2 people could have studied for the same amount of time and gotten a different grade. That's very possible. Let me take a look at my email. Well, you're putting that in there. Let's see. Linear. Whoops. That's not where I wanted to be. Regression, here it is. Mhm. 0, 1, 2. Oh no, that's the same. I wonder if he meant for us to do that. Okay, let's do. $10.2 solutions to homework. Okay, let me see if she has the. No, she left it. There are 2 values for that. So that wasn't a mistake. She did mean for it to be that. So you're gonna have two values for the number 2. So go ahead and enter it in your calculator.
How do I do it again?
How do you, okay, so you're gonna go to, all right, let me show you. So let me see here. So let's remember, clear out your y equals. You don't have to
Mhm.
turn your plot off, just clear out your y equals. So hit your y equals key and clear the line that's already there. We're going to now go to your stat
Okay.
and we're going to clear your data out of this. So stat, and then from edit, hit that. So right now I have this. I'm gonna clear my data. So for me, I'm gonna use clear, enter. And that will clear it for me. Highlight your list name and clear, enter, okay? Now go ahead and put your X's in L1 and don't worry that your number 2 is repeated, that's okay. So it's gonna be like 2, 5, 1, I don't remember the rest of them, let me see. Hold on. 2, 5, 1, 0, 4, 2, 3. So then we have 0,
I can't
4.
see the screen.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm putting in the data like I normally would. So I'm here, 2, 5, 1, 0, 4, 2, and 3. Okay. Like so. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to do the same thing for L2. I'm going to shift my screen share so I can read the numbers. So this is going to be, let me write. This is 77, 92, 70, 63, 90, 75, and 84. So I'm going to do, let me go back to my calculator here. We're going to put in the numbers. So 77, 92, 70, 63, 60, 75, and 84. Okay. Now, do you remember what we do after we enter the data?
Y equals?
Not yet, because we are with our stat plot is already on, so we don't have to do that. You can go straight to stat.
Oh, yeah.
Stat. Calc. 4. Very good. Stat calc 4. L1 and L2 are already there, so go ahead and calculate it. You don't have to turn on your diagnostic, it's already there. So you should see A, B, R squared, and R. So then we're going to write down what A is. A for me is 3.4274.
I got 6.8870.
Oh, let me check my data. Maybe I made an error there. Hold on, let me check it. Maybe I put in a number wrong. 277, 92, 70, 63, 60, 75, 84. 251. Hold on, let me see.
I think because the 4 is supposed, the 4 and 60 is supposed to be a 90.
Oh, is it 9? Yeah, maybe. This one here?
Yep.
Ah, that could be. Everything else look okay?
Yep.
Thank you for correcting that. So we have stat, calc 4, L1, L2. How about that? Does that look better?
Let me
6.0887.
see. Yep.
All right. So A is 6.0887. And B is 63.9274.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All
And
right.
R.
And R, very good. And R is going to be 0.98. Well, actually, be careful. Yeah, this is a hard little rounding trick.
90.
So it's going to end up being 98.90. So 0.9890 is where this is going to go. 0.9890. Let me go over that for those who might be wondering watching this later. So here, this 9 that's after the 8 and before the 7, there's a 7 behind the 9. So this 9 should become a 10. There's no room for it to become a 10. So this becomes a 0, and the digit next to it, which is 8, goes up by 1. So that's 9 there. And then the 2 other digits stay. So this becomes 0.9890 is where we end up with that. That's how that rounding works. Okay. 0.9890 is your R. So let's switch to the homework so we can look at the, okay. So make a scatter plot of the table. So this is the actual data that's on there. You're going to have 2 dots at the number 2. Okay. One of them is going to be at 77 on the Y. One of them is going to be at 75. So they're going to be really close together, but they're not going to be the same point. Okay. Go ahead and graph that.
So now I go to Y.
You want to put, sure, we can put it in your calculator right now. Sure, you can go to Y equals here.
Mhm.
And then you can put in your graph. So you're going to put in, can you tell me what you're going to put in, Jason?
6.0887
6.0887. What comes after it?
X.
Yeah, don't forget your X. Sometimes students forget that. You get a very strange looking result if you forget that X. Very good. So let me, whoops.
Got a question. What happens if the B is positive?
Then it hits,
Plus?
the Y-axis. Yeah, it hits the Y-axis above there, and it will be, can you see my screen? Or no?
Yes,
Okay.
I see it.
Just checking because it was giving me some issues. All right, so here, 6.0887. Yeah, you mean if you want to enter a positive B? Is that what you're asking me? Yeah, then just hit the plus sign. So plus, the regular plus sign, and then B is 63.9274. 9274. And we're going to go ahead and remember before you can hit the zoom and fit your window. So zoom stat. And I get a graph that looks like this. Because there's a point that's on the y-axis this time, that actually is above the y-axis that we actually see, we're going to it's going to give us a little bit of space so we can actually see that. But this is my plot right here.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, take your time. This is the time consuming part, is graphing it. That's the time consuming part of this. It's not hard. Just takes a while.
Mm-hmm. What happens if some of the dots are blacked out?
What do you
Also, do I
mean? What do
like
you mean? What do
the
you mean
first and
blacked
second?
out?
The first and second too.
Oh, you mean right here?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the reason this dot looks blacked out is because it's going through the y-axis. So it
Mm-hmm.
filled in the hole. And this dot is blacked out because the line is going through the dot. But
Mm-hmm.
the reason that these two aren't is they're not the same point. Okay, so the fact that they're blacked out on your calculator just means they're going through another line. Either
Okay.
the axis, so you don't have to black them out on your graph. We'll know, right? Because this is on this. Let me trace it and show you. This dot, let me go back. Come on, trace it for me, will you? Okay. If you continue with your trace, this dot here, that's the dot at 4. This is the dot at 2.5. This dot that goes through 0 here, this is where this would be. This is your y-intercept. This is your 66 and something. This dot here is 1 and 70. But it goes right through your regression equation, goes right through that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to draw and this is a good tip, sometimes it's hard to draw your regression equation, your line on top of your dots. Finding the dot that it goes through, because usually it will go through one of them or it'll get really close. Finding the dot that it goes through can be really helpful.
I have a question. How do I on your screen, the X and Y, it has a whole number. Mine has decimals.
Okay, this is the graph. This is the actual graph. So you're talking about on the window here?
Yeah.
On
No, like on the graph, like on the X and Y.
it has decimals on the graph.
Oh, there we go.
You talking about this here? Because I traced it. I hit trace and it's showing me if I move it along the line, then see, I can have decimals here. You talking about right here? y1 equals, I have the line itself. But it depends on where I'm tracing it from. Does that answer your question or not?
A little.
Okay. Well, do you want to send me a picture or a screenshot of what you're seeing? Or would you like to share your screen?
Hold on, because I'm doing this on a on a on a calculator.
Okay. There's my graph without the trace on it.
So I got 0.60 and then. Oh, you said that there's another dot together. That's why it's a little bit looks blacked out.
This dot here. So this dot, let me see if I can spotlight it for you, because I don't think you'll see the pan, but you might see. Can you see my red spotlight here? Is that visible
Yes.
to you? Okay, this dot here, okay, is going through the y-axis. And it's also a dot on the line. You see? This is the 0 and 63.97, right? This point right here. Because it's going through this line here and this line here, it shows up as black. Because what it does is it fills in the hole. Because there's a little hole, right? And it's, you've got two lines going through it, so it in effect fills it in. That's why. Same thing on this one, on 1 in 70 right here. If you used a different window setting, those of you watching this later, if you set your own window or you use a slightly different window setting, your graph may look slightly different, pushed over or pushed forward, but as long as you can see all of the dots, you've done it correctly. Let me pull up this is what you're seeing here is Professor Nickdell's scatter plot. And you can see that her dot is on the y-axis, and then this first dot is at 170. So you have a scatter plot that looks like this as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Part B, you already have the regression equation and the
Mm-hmm.
correlation coefficient.
Yep.
Let me check because the data that she has, let me see, 277, 592, 170, 063, 275. 63, 90. Let me check something. Let me stop sharing that. You go to the homework screen, share it. Not that one. I don't want to see that. I want to see the homework. Oh, I have to. Okay. I don't. Let me stop sharing the screen for a minute and bring up the actual homework assignment. Where did it go? Oh, let me bring. Here it is. And trying to.
Are you still there?
I'm still here. I'm looking for the homework closed on me, so I have to open it.
Hmm.
How are you doing? How are you doing with the second one, Jason?
I'm already on D.
Okay, so what does D say?
Predict the exam grade of students who study for 6 hours.
Okay, so what are we going to do for that?
We're gonna times it by 6.
Okay, where are we going to put the 6?
The X.
Right, because your exam grade is the Y, so you're going to put the time in the X. Do that and see what you get.
100.279.
So basically, it's predicting that you're going to get a perfect score, assuming there's no extra credit in here. So let me see if that's. Yeah, so yeah, that's fine. And she put around 100 because we would have to have extra credit going on if that was the case. Okay, try the third one and see how you get along with that one.
Mm-hmm.
If you need help, I can help you, okay? But it's just like the last two that we did. So we're gonna have 2, 4, 6, 68. 124, 31, 139, 149, and 158. Okay. Let me put these on the screen. We're gonna go to start. Memory, we're gonna clear all the lists. Number. Let me put my calculator up so that you can follow if you choose. Share screen, calculator. So 60, 2, 64, 66, 68. Would help if I had the mouse, wouldn't it? Which I don't have. Let me see. And I'll take mouse. Okay. There we go. 60. 68. Oops. 62. 4. 66. 68. 70. 72. All right, now we have 105, 114, 124, 131, whoops, 124, 131, 139, 149, and 158. Okay. Make sure my Y is cleared out. Make sure that my Zoom 9 is on. There's my, wow, this is like really linear right here. Number 3 is very linear. Okay, so let's do Zoom. Sorry, not Zoom, Stat, Calc 4. Calculate that. Did you get your A and B yet?
Yeah,
What is your A for this one?
4.3571,
Good. And your B?
negative 156.1429.
Very nice. Good job.
But the R is confusing.
Why is that?
Is it 0.9910?
Okay. Yeah, I can see why. Okay. So this, think of this, maybe this would be easier. When you have this double rounding issue, right? Because it's these last 2 digits that are messing you up right here, right? This 4th digit is a 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has a 9 behind it. So
Yes.
the one has space to become a 2. So this is 9992. Okay.
Oh,
9992. If this were another 9, then it would be what you were, but this is 9992 is what that would be.
okay.
So R is 0.9992. My A 4.3571. My B negative 156. 1429. Good job. So now we're going to go to y equals. We're going to go to your mouse first. We're going to go to y equals here. We're going to clear the drawing out. So we have 4.3571 x. I'm going to make sure we put our x here. And we have plus minus 156.14. Graph it. And this line goes almost through all of the dots, not quite. It misses a couple barely, but it goes through most of them. It's a very linear kind of line.
Oh, mine's is a little short. Or mine's like a little big.
A little longer. That's okay. Your window
No,
is for, what do you mean?
no, I mean, I don't see like all of them.
Oh, remember zoom stat.
Zoom stat?
So do zoom and
Okay.
then go to number. So if you see that, like if your window doesn't match, like let me pick a window that doesn't match. Give me a second. So if I had a window like this and I graphed it, let me change the window setting and let me change the,
Okay, I see it now. I got it.
you could do zoom stat and it would fit it for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happens. And it's just a matter of, all zoom stat is doing is changing the window to fit your data automatically. That's all that's doing there. Okay.
Wait, why does the B say 4.7,
Does it?
4.35?
Hold on, let me see. Are you talking about for the homework or for,
Yeah,
okay, hold on, let me see. Let me go to the homework assignment. Cause I got that too. I got 4.3571. So let me check it and see. Let me see what's up with this. Downloads. Homework, linear regression. Okay. Let me go and see if did she make a correction to that or not? Let's take a look. But she has, you're on number 3, right?
yeah.
Let me check. What she has in her answer key is this one says 4.3571, which is what you have. Let me put it on the screen. This maybe she, hold on. Let me put it up. So you're okay. Let me show you right here. Though the regression equation is 4.3571x minus 156.1429
Mm-hmm.
with R equal to 0.9992, which matches what I have here.
Okay, I also have it too.
Okay, so maybe her her other solution, maybe she missed it. I think that other solution was from the previous semester, so she probably changed it when she made this answer key. All right, so we're there, right? How about D, part D?
Oh,
Predict the weight of a sand shark whose length is 75 inches.
mhm. So 75 is X.
Uh-huh. And we're predicting the weight. So we're predicting the Y, right?
Mm-hmm. So 4.3571.
Mm-hmm.
I got 170.6396.
If you round to the nearest, yeah, if you round to the nearest, yeah, if you round to the nearest pound, you get 171 pounds. Good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Okay.
Yep.
That's good. Only one more and you'll be done. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's gonna mix things up a bit on D and she's gonna ask you for something different, but the first 3 parts are the same. Okay. So it's just the same kind of routine here.
So it's D that's different.
D is gonna be a little different here. Okay, but otherwise you'll be fine. So let's do this. 67,
Mm-hmm.
70, 73.5. You're pretty good with your calculator.
Yeah.
And 66. And then we have 8.5. 9.5. 13 and 8. Okay. Let me put this on the screen. I'm gonna do a little housekeeping on my calculator first. Gonna go to the y equals and make sure my line is out. I'm gonna make sure that my lists are clear. So second memory 4 and so 67, 70, 73.5, 75, 78, and 60. 8.5. 9.5. 11. 13. And 8. Okay, put in my data. Let me just take a peek, make sure that I entered it correctly. 8.5, 9.5, 11, 12. Yeah, so stat, calc 4. Calculate that. A is 0.4211. B is negative 19.8127.
What? Hold
Are
on.
you not getting?
Did I get something wrong on the stats?
Well, maybe I did. It wouldn't be the first time. Did you not match? Let's see. Let's go back to the data and let's check in. I have 67, 70, 73.5, 75, 78, and 66. Is that not correct?
Yeah, everything's correct.
Let me make sure my data matches the no, I got the same thing she got. So check your data and see. Make sure you use linear regression.
Okay, I did it. That's what I did wrong.
Okay. No, it can happen. So let me put it back up. Strat, calc 4. And calculate it so it looks like this. I have A as 0.4211. I have B
Okay.
as negative 19.8127.
I got it.
And R is 0.9972.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it in your Y equals. So we're going to have 0.4211x minus 19.8127. Oops. Except I'm gonna have to go back and change that. That should be X, not an arrow key. So let me fix that. There we go. Now remember, before you graph it, you want to hit zoom 9, so it'll change the window to fit your data. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So zoom 9, and my picture looks like this. Again, pretty strong correlation here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put up the homework here.
Okay.
Okay, so now D, I'm gonna put up the regression equation on the screen here. So this is point 0.4211x minus 19.8127. So here, now I said this is going to be a little different. The regression equation isn't different, but it says if a man has a shoe size of 10.5, what would be his predicted height? So which variable is my shoe size? X or Y?
X.
Not this time, because remember, if you look at your table here,
Mm-hmm.
the top line is your X. So X is your height
Oh.
and Y is your shoe size, okay? She
Mm-hmm.
always sets it up that way, that the first line, the top line is your height, the second line is your Y. So it says, what is, if a man has a shoe size of 10.5,
Mm-hmm.
so that means here that Y, this means that what she's done here is she's given you the Y. Y is 10.5, and she wants you to find X, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, it's not just a simple plug-in, we actually have to solve it. You do plug in 10.5 for Y, so 10.5 equals 0.4211x minus 19.8127. Okay. If we want to solve for x, what do we need to do next?
We turn the y, we add it on both sides.
Add which? What number?
The 19.8127.
Yeah, you're just going to add 19.8127 to both sides. So you're going to get 10.5 plus 19.8127 is going to equal 0.4211x. Okay. Then if we add that up, let's see, 10.5 plus 19.8, what are you getting?
30.3127.
Perfect. So this is 30, not 31, 30.8127. Good. 8. I said it, but can I type it properly? Apparently not. 3127. Does that look right? That looks better. Equal 0. Now what?
Divide.
Divide by 0.4211. And what do we get? Let's round it to the nearest.
I got 72.
72 is your
X.
height, right? So this
Okay.
must be in inches, right? Because I don't think the man's going to be 72 feet tall, but he could be 72 inches tall for sure. So yeah, X here would be 72 inches. Very nice. Good job.
Mhm.
And that's it. That's it. One thing I did want to say for the benefit of not only you, but the people watching the video, you guys have an exam coming up this week. So use your time to study for the exam, go over the review, wait to do 8-1 until you've finished the exam. Because that's what she's doing in her lecture classes as well. Okay. Don't start 8-1. 8-1 is not going to be on this exam. So start 8-1 once you finish the exam. Your exam, for those of you online, will open April 12th, I believe, at midnight. So tomorrow night at midnight, that's April 11th, so it'll open at midnight for those of you that like to work the late shift. Otherwise, for those of us who work a little earlier, it'll be open in the morning on the 12th, and you'll have all day on the 12th to take it. Okay?
Mhm.
So good work, Jason.
Thanks.
No problem. Any questions?
No, that's all.
All righty. Well, I will see you if you're working on the review or on the exam. If you have any other questions about the homework, you can bring them in tomorrow and we can work on that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
Bye.